Hi, in this video we are going to talk about this command called print. It is used to print output on the screen. Now we have three variables. One variable called name, and the value is Mary. And if you see these single quotes or double quotes, it means this is a string value. And we have another variable with the value 18, also a string variable, and a third variable, height. This is also a string variable 1.777. To print this value, we can actually use this print. So let's look at these two different methods of printing. So we say print name, which is the name of this variable, which is having this value Mary. So we can use the plus sign, which means concatenate. So you print this variable, concatenate with this string, concatenate with the variable here, concatenate with this string, concatenate with this variable here, concatenate with this string. So you will have name is Mary. Mary is 18 years old and 1.777 meters tall. So this is one method using the plus, the concatenate method. You can also use another method using comma. Okay, so you separate the variables and the string with commas. So you see you have name, comma, separated with is string, comma, with the variables age, comma, with the string years old and, comma, with the variable height. This is actually a comma, you can use a comma, and the last string meter tall. So let's run. So right click and run. Okay, and you will see Mary is 18 years old and 1.777 meters tall. So this is for this first print statement using the plus. And the second statement using the comma, you will see Mary is 18 years old and 1.77 meters tall. So one thing you notice is this Mary, in between this string there is two spaces. This comma will add a space in between the string. So I put here add space in between. So if you want to get rid of this space, then you have to remove all the spaces. Here is here, years old here, and this meters tall here. So if you right click and run, then you see it is the same. So now there is two methods. One is the comma method, one is the plus method. And you know that the plus method don't add any spaces in between, but the comma method add a space in between. Now if we do some changes, so this name, age, and height are all string variables. What if I want to print a mixture of string variables, integer variables, and float values? So let me make some change. So I move this. So this 18 is now an integer variable. And this numerical, because it is having some decimals, it is not known as an integer variables, but it's known as a float variable. So this is a string variable, this is an integer variable, this is a float variable. When we try to run, you'll find that you hit into a compilation error, and they tell you type error, can only concatenate string, not integer. So because this 18 now is an integer, and if you say name concatenate with this string is okay, but if you concatenate with age is not a string, then you hit into this problem. So if you use this print method, the plus method, all these variables must be a string. If not, it will not work. Okay, so how to turn it into string? You can actually use this method called str. So we know age is an integer, so we put a string. So I change this into a string. And then we know height is also not a string, so we can also change it into a string. So if you right click and print, now it prints fine. So now you know that this add method must make sure all the things concatenated must be a string. And you also notice that, hey, for the comma method, even if it is not a string, it is still fine. So you need to know the differences between these two, okay? The plus method and the comma method. Then I introduce another method, the percent method. So the percent method, you put the whole string you want and you end with a percent. And you can put some variables that you want to print inside. So now we have three variables. One is name, one is age, and one is height. So we can put a bracket at the back and put the three variables: name, age, and height. And we need to tell Python where is the value printed. So we put here the first percent. So name is a string, so we use %s. So %s takes the value of name, which is Mary. So Mary will come here, replace this %s. So Mary is, and age we know is a integer. So integer we use %i or %d. So now %d. So Mary is 18 years old and height is a float. So we use %f. So but if we want to change it to like maybe 2 decimal places, then we put another additional .2. So %.2f means 2 decimal place. So when we right click, print, Mary is 18 years old and 1.78 meter tall. So you can display in 2 decimal places. So you can only do it with this %. Plus method and comma method, you cannot do it. Then we talk about another method, the fourth method of printing. So let's come here, which is using the f string. So you put a f in front of the string and you put the whole string here. So f string, you can just put this curly bracket and put the variables in between the curly bracket. So if you want Mary here, you just put within the string. So this whole thing is within this double quotes, okay? Then you put one bracket, open curly bracket, close curly bracket, name. Then Mary will come here. Mary is, then in between this curly bracket, 18 years old, and in between you put height, meters tall. And if you want to format into 2 decimal place, then you put a column and put the .2f. And if you right click and run, there you have it. Mary is 18 years old and 1.78 meters tall. So this is 4 different methods of using print to print the output you wanted. I hope it is helpful for you. If you find it helpful, please help to like the video. Thank you.